Cad Bane is considered the greatest bounty hunter of the Clone Wars era, and a specialist in hunting down Jedi and any Jedi conflicts whatsoever. He was held in such high esteem that he even had contact with 3 of the most prominent Sith Lords of this era, including taking jobs with Darth Maul, Dooku, as well as being contacted directly by the Sith Lord himself, Darth Sidious, a huge honor in the Star Wars galaxy, as Palpatine did not often venture out of his chambers to contact any separatist sympathizer directly, or bounty hunter for that matter, as the Sith Lord preferred to believe that the bounty hunters were scum. However, it's incredibly notable that Sidious on multiple occasions spoke directly with Cad Bane. However, Cad Bane was not always considered the greatest bounty hunter of his era. There was one other prominent Star Wars figure that is actually believed to be a better and superior bounty hunter to that of Cad Bane, at least for a period of time before the Clone Wars would break out. That bounty hunter is the father of Boba Fett, Jango Fett himself. But what is the greater relationship between Cad Bane and Jango Fett, and what did the two of them think of one another? Well, acolytes of a galaxy far, far away, sit back and let's explore the relationship between Jango Fett, the father of Boba, and Cad Bane, Boba's greatest rival, and explore what the two of them thought of one another, as well as how they actually worked together on several jobs, but decided to ultimately part ways. First though, according to our analytics over here at the channel, a lot of you guys that watch the channel haven't actually subscribed yet. So if you've been enjoying the Star Wars content and would like to see more, I implore you to force crush that subscribe button. Now acolytes, let's continue. The bounty hunting game before the Clone Wars broke out was far less complicated, as hunters at the time mainly focused on bail jumpers and were hired directly by the Republic. However, the greatest bounty hunters of the era worked for sources and beings outside of the Order of the Republic, such as the Hutts and the Pikes. These bounty hunters were considered far more dangerous, and oftentimes were not members of the Bounty Hunters Guild. Two of the most prominent hunters that were never a part of the guild were of course Jango Fett and Cad Bane. However, at the time, Cad Bane was very much considered an afterthought to Jango, something that greatly annoyed Cad Bane. Cad Bane, who was a male Duro, was quite new to the bounty hunter game at the time, or at least the big leagues of the bounty hunters. Cad Bane had specifically outlined his arsenal to take on Jedi, and because of that, he held some form of respect for beings in the galaxy that had been able to compete with Jedi. Cad Bane has said on multiple occasions that he very much respects the Force as well as those that wield it. However, he does not fear them, and that he will take any job if the pay is high enough, actually wanting to see his skills against that of a Jedi. However, there was one being at the time who had been known to kill multiple Jedi with his bare hands, one of the most feared bounty hunters of all time, stemming from the Mandalorian creed as a Mandalorian foundling. This man's name was Jango Fett. Not only had Jango Fett come into constant conflicts with the Jedi, but again he had managed to kill several of them in hand-to-hand combat, a feat that gave him extreme popularity and fear among the scum of the galaxy. If anyone had a job that involved killing Jedi, they would strictly hire Jango Fett and think of Cad Bane as an afterthought. And although Cad Bane did hold a lot of resent for Jango Fett and his notoriety in the bounty hunting community, he did something that a lot of people wouldn't. He reached out to Jango Fett directly and asked for his help and asked him to teach him, taking Cad Bane on as a sort of apprentice. Cad Bane held a great deal of respect for Jango Fett, again being another non-force sensitive individual in the galaxy that could compete with Jedi. And Jango at the time had no quarrels with Cad Bane either, hoping to lift the young bounty hunter up and teach him some of his tricks, although of course not all of them. The two of them would work together on several jobs, although of course they both knew that their situation was an impermanent one. After an undisclosed amount of time working together, Cad Bane felt that he had learned a lot from Jango Fett, and Jango Fett in return from Cad Bane, and the two of them parted with mutual respect for one another. A few months later, however, Jango Fett would ultimately be killed by the Jedi Master Mace Windu during the outbreak of the Clone Wars conflict on Geonosis, and Cad Bane perceived this as his golden opportunity, an opportunity to prove that he truly was the best bounty hunter in the business now that Jango was officially out of the game. It was because of this that Cad Bane was compelled to take every job he could that would face off against Jedi, hoping to prove his superiority, something that debatably Cad Bane could have ultimately achieved, being considered in many circles as Jango Fett's equal. However, with the rise of Boba Fett, this greatly worried and also angered the likes of Cad Bane, as he believed that Boba walked around without having proven himself like his father had, which led to a distinct rivalry between the two of them, a rivalry which we will hopefully ultimately see culminate in the Book of Boba Fett. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett having Cad Bane return to prominence in the Star Wars universe and Star Wars mythos? And what are your thoughts on the mutual respect that Cad Bane and Jango shared for one another? Do you think that this will be a prominent plot detail and something that is brought up in the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett? And do you think that Jango Fett will be mentioned? As always, Acolytes, I hope you have a phenomenal day, may the Force be with you, and I will hopefully catch you in the next video.